Alright, let's go to court. Let's go to court.
Good morning, Max. Oh yeah, good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Hee. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. That's not a glass of milk, Regina, it's a carton. Anyway, Regina. How fabulous, my sweetie pie princess. You came to watch my performance today? Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this. Mo said that? So, what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of a show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't... Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on, or even where she is. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today, I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous. Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Well, Regina's different, don't you think, Nick?
Top of the morning to ya! Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go?
Mo.
Top of the morning, ya governor!
Top of the morning.
That's a ticket. Attack of the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms lack higher brain function. Ah, wah 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 wah. Here, Max, I brought you a present. Have some milk.
Oh my, thanks!
So how are you today, right?
Well, I've got a feeling that today I'm gonna face off against the real culprit.
You mean Acro?
Huh? You think he did it?
Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line. Literally. He's got guts to spare.
If all I've got to worry about is how thin a tightrope is, I'm used to it already.
It just means I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses.
What are you gonna do then, Nick? I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth. You're right, but it's gonna be tough.
Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father.
You want us to make sure Regina watches?
Yes, that's why I brought her here to court today.
What's that supposed to mean?
She needs to know that when people die, they just don't become stars. You see, people die when they are killed. Like a very important lesson from Emiya Shiro. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. The archer class really is made out of archers. The court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galactica.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, you may proceed with your case.
The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of defense.
What's the meaning of this?
We have discovered a new witness, or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime.
Order, order. I had a feeling something like this would come up.
Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detective stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene on my orders.
Poor Gumshoe.
He's not paid enough to do all of this.
Very well. Please call your witness to the stand.
Time to get to work, or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. Alright, Acro. Can you not have your birds here? It's kind of weird. They're gonna poop everywhere. You know, birds, they poop a lot. So, I mean, I don't think they should be here. Anyway. Name and occupation?
Ken Dingeling.
But everyone calls me Acro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the Very Big Circus. Where were you at the night of the crime?
I was in my room that night.
If you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the crime scene.
My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window. The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed? Okay. It was just after 10 o'clock p.m., and I was just resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Then, a few moments later, I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. This witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there's very little the prosecution need add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night. Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness. A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Phoenix, right? Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth did. Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? Well, in the words of Miss Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened. Very well, you may proceed with the cross-examination. You know, Phoenix did say that you shouldn't press acro, but I mean... I want to press though. I don't know, should I press or shouldn't I press? I want to press. You said that you were resting in bed. One would thus assume that you turned the lights off in your room, correct? That's correct. But there are safety lights around the outside of the lodging house. It's so bright, sometimes it can make it hard to sleep. If that's the case, wouldn't it be a good idea to close some curtains? I never really thought of that. I guess that means I'm off to buy some curtains. Sometimes I do make myself useful in these chambers. Ow! The witness will now proceed with his testimony. Around the time, heard a loud thump noise. Your room is on the 3rd floor, right? Yes. And you said that you were resting in bed. That is correct. But you were still you're still able to hear a sound from outside. I was indeed. Pressing arrow doesn't seem to get results. But maybe something was contradictory what he just said just now. A large thump. A large thump. A large thump. Not yet. Well, maybe, but for now, let's see what we can squeeze out of him first. Well, until I can find a clear contradiction, I should tread lightly. Apparently you heard a large thump. Are you sure it was a human being? It could have been a mannequin, or perhaps a large action figure. Well, setting aside the possibility of a mannequin, an action figure is plausible. You have no need to mince words with Mr. Phoenix Wright. Testify to the truth and only the truth, just as if you were there, just as if we were there with you that night. I believe he was a human. Damn, I just strengthened his testimony. One of Acro's statements jives with the facts. I don't know. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? Nothing. Okay, we have an option, I guess, to see if we can, like, present evidence, but I don't know. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you are still able to clearly see a human fly by your window. The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see, but honestly, there is only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Did you see any of the other symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat, as well as a cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get. But maybe there's something fishy? No, I don't know. Is there something? I'm not sure. When did you start thinking that what you saw wasn't a dream? That's not important. I believe that the prosecution has done a bit of a maintenance on the witness's memory. Just to make sure, let's ask the witness. Ow! Objection. Sustained? Don't sustain that. Acro must be lying about what he saw, right? Of course he is. Now the challenge will be to expose his lies in court. Well, put the pedal to the metal, Nick. Large thump. Well, I mean, large thump, that's very close to what Mo said as well. Like, are we trying to find contradiction from the evidence or from a previous testimony? Because we don't have previous testimony to go back on, though. At least, you know, on the court record anyway. Large thump. Large thump. Someone flying right by my window. We probably need to press him. We can't really. We probably can't present evidence directly on the statements. We need to press him and see what he says, and then see if we can find a contradiction from what he's just said, right? What do you say about this? Couldn't see the white roses, but what else did he see? White roses. Silk hat, as well as a cloak. Did you see the silk hat with the feather? I don't know. He's not being that specific, but at the same time, he's still technically true, so I don't know. I'm gonna keep pressing him. Let's see. Turn the lights off. Outside the house. Very bright. Okay, this one, well, the first statement doesn't really do much, I guess. Large thump. Okay, your room's on the third floor, right? Yes, and you said that you were sitting in bed. Correct. You'll still be able to hear a sound. Yes. You're still able to hear a sound even though you're on the third floor. He mentioned safety lights, right? Where are the safety lights? Where were they positioned? I don't know. It doesn't really show here, because I'm thinking, did he actually see the silhouette? If he lives in the third floor, in particular, like here, like which way were the safety lights pointed at? I feel like they're pointed at here, right? and then someone who died was right here, the lights would like, they would show light, a silhouette like this way, not this way. The lights weren't here, they were here. If I remember correctly, at the scene of the crime anyway, that was the perspective we were at. See, are you sure it was a human being? You believe it was human? I don't know if I might be tunnel like, what do you call it? Like tunnel visioning? Tunnel visioning. I don't know if that's a word. A little bit of tunnel vision, I guess. Lights off, so clearly able to see, and he's saying he saw the silhouette. The savior lights lit things up enough for me to see. Honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back. Supposedly. The thing is, if you didn't see the... Okay, here's the thing. I might be completely wrong. If I remember Mo's testimony, apparently Mo probably saw the silhouette of the person in front of him, right? He saw, I guess, assumably, he saw like the face, or at least, maybe not exactly, but as if he was facing him, as if he's facing Mo. But Acro is saying he's saying he didn't see any white roses because the silhouette was facing behind, like he saw the behind of the silhouette. But that makes no sense. If Mo didn't see it, if Acro didn't see it, which way was the silhouette facing? You know, that's a contradiction, right? At least with Mo's testimony, I think. Either that, or maybe the lights might be facing the wrong way. And again, maybe not. Like maybe if it was facing like this way, that might still be fine. I'm not sure. Actually, I want to see that statement again. I don't know. I want to see that statement again. What did he say exactly? Light in your room was turned off by that, right? That's sure is going better. So when light, you clearly see him fly by your window. I see light lit that things up enough for me to see. Honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Silk hat, as well as a cloak wrapped around his body. I don't know. Then again, this is supposedly, anyway, his story anyway, is after the ringmaster gets killed, and then the person flies, right? So it wasn't the exact time. So really, I have 3 statements to press, I guess. This one, and this one. It's a weird animation. The birds fly going on him. A little bit of a pause, I feel like. Yeah, like that. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe that's suspicious. At 10 PM, a large thump. After 10 PM. I mean, technically, yeah, Russell, 10:15. I mean, I guess I'm not really sure, but like, just after 10, is that 15? Does that count? 15 minutes after 10? I guess that counts. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm gonna keep pressing. I want to see exactly what. Is there a contradiction? 3rd floor, resting in bed. That is correct. You're still able to hear a sound from outside? I was indeed. Is he able to hear the sound from outside, from the 3rd floor? It's kind of hard to really substantiate that, or substantiate the fact that he could not have with any like kind of evidence, because we don't really have evidence that can show that, really, as far as I know. Because if I remember, that definitely does jive with Mo's testimony. He heard a thump, then he looked out the window, then they flew up, right? If I don't know, it's been a while, so I can't remember now exactly what Mo said. But I think that's what he said. So that's correct. Saw someone flying right by my window. It sure was a human being. Could have been a mannequin, perhaps a large action figure. I believe it was a human. I mean, it's not really a direct contradiction. He saw something. Mo also said he saw like a cloak and hat, right? Maybe press this one again, I don't know. And this one is just Phoenix just saying, like, you know, maybe his testimony has been a little bit prepared by the prosecution. But I guess we don't go anywhere with that. Lying about what he saw. I don't think it has anything to do with the sound, right? I don't think we can prove anything about that. So we have to rely on visual elements. So either it's because believed to be human, or maybe he was mistaken about something about what he saw from behind. Saw him from behind. Okay, I'm gonna go with my gut again. As I said before, I feel like either it has something to do with the fact with, again, his hat, you know, silk hat as well as a cloak wrap around his body. Maybe there's a contradiction here because I don't know, maybe not though. Oh god, I'm not sure exactly. It's all a silhouette. Because we saw in that picture, you know, his supposed silhouette. We see his big shadow there, but that's not where the safety lights are, for one. Two, it's not facing the correct direction that Mo said he was facing, right? Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb. Let's see what Phoenix says. Maybe he'll give us a hint as we pick this option, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll just say nothing, though. Maybe he'll just say, there's a contradiction, and I'm here to prove it! And then we don't know what to prove. Let's see. There's a huge contradiction in the testimony that was just given. If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of contradiction? I'm not sure. Let's see. I think... map? Map, maybe? If I remember correctly... maybe I'm wrong, though. Look at the way that the ringmaster is, like, slumped over the box. You know? He would be facing, like, Mo, right? He would be I think facing Mo, and then the perpetrator would be behind the ringmaster. So if he flew up, he wouldn't be showing his back, he would be showing his side to Acro. I think. Might be completely wrong, though, but let's see. Well, here comes the penalty. Yep. What do I get? You're not gonna be able to get through this usual bluff.
Opinion testimony. A pleasure. Okay, well, we didn't get a penalty. That's good. I mean, that's one good thing. No penalty. Phew. Let's see. But I'm not sure what exactly I'm supposed to... He must be lying. Okay, why must he be lying? There must have been something I'm missing, really. Something he couldn't have seen. So something he probably made up, right? It was probably human. Probably human. Probably human. Oh! I get it now. I got a eureka moment just then. It's amazing. Hopefully I'm right. Because I think... Yes. This is what... Okay, this is what's wrong. I get it now. Look at this. Apparently he's on the 3rd floor. He sees the silhouette. He saws the cloak and the silk hat. But what's wrong with that? You see... There's something wrong with that. There's something completely wrong with that. Why? Because he couldn't have seen this silhouette. Because this silk hat was found at the crime scene. We concluded last time that the hat was on the ground, right? It didn't come back as they flew. So, I mean, yeah, he couldn't have seen this hat. That's impossible. You claim to have seen the exact same thing Mo saw that night. Do you stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down at your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state I'm in. Just looking outside of the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the ringmaster's hat, right? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk hats? No, this is handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for the Maximilian Galactica. Which means that, Acro, that you've been fibbing on the stand. Yeah, got him! You know, I like that part, okay. Because sometimes I get stuck in Phoenix Wright, I really hate it. Other times, I really like it. I like that one. Because it's like, definitely something you would have only have noticed by reading a detail on the court record and comparing it with his testimony, right? I love that part of Phoenix Wright. Little like logical deductions you can make just from what you have, you know? It's not about remembering like small details from the investigation that's not written in the court record, or like weird like game mechanics where you gotta press and present at certain parts, you know? But this part where it's just pure logic, I love that part. You know, like something like this. But anyway. Order. As always, it looks like someone just had to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? What would cause this witness to commit perjury in this court today? Ack was dreaming? Nah. He has a grudge against Max. I mean, that's a flimsy argument. Acro's the real culprit. I mean, that would explain a lot. Yeah, I'll say that. Your Honor. On this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself. On this occasion? Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honor. I think your trips to the circus have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab at an audience's hearts and minds. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book.
Really?
If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to be almost scary.
He is staying rather calm and collected while I'm being poked by a woodpecker, I think. Stop it! Mr. Dingling. Dingling or Dingling? I want to say Dingling, but it's Dingling. Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defense's accusation?
I don't really need to say a thing, do I?
What do you mean? Everyone, take a good look at me. I can't even stand up by myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's true. I understand Mr. Wright is trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things.
See, even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous.
She's right. Way to pick on the disabled, you heartless. Oh, well, disabled. Is that PC nowadays? I don't know. Anyway, you heartless cruel man. Phoenix is a poopy head. Poopy!
See that, Mr. Phoenix Wright? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough for this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well?
Objection! The doctor is a sham! The doctor is a fake. Anyway, I know.
I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice.
What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? I mean, I don't know. Did he? Would he? I mean, it seems like he should need an accomplice, but if he needed an accomplice... Well, the thing is, we have alibis from everyone. Mo was in his room, and he was collaborating with Ben, right? I mean, not collaborating with Ben's testimony. Like, he was here. Ben was over here. He left Mo in his room, right? Regina, I mean... Regina, we don't know where she was technically, but I mean, I don't think she's an accomplice of Acro. As far as I know, I mean, she seems very innocent. I mean, I think that's her whole deal. Unless she was tricked, I don't know. I don't think so. Max, I mean, Max is the defendant. I mean, we can't call him accomplice. Who else is... Let's see. Maya, no? Max, no. We know Ben's alibi. Gumshoe, no. Regina was somewhere else, but I don't think she's related. Russell's the victim. Mo has an alibi. Acro's, I mean, we're trying to accuse him, right? Again, Mo has an alibi. Russell's the victim. Regina... What's her alibi? Well, her alibi is that, the thing is, the only person that went to the lodging area was Russell, right? Ben's alibi, but we're gonna have to trust Ben then. Because Ben could have only seen one person go to the scene of the crime. That was someone with the cloak and hat, right? And we assume that it's Russell, basically. Only Russell went there, and he's the victim. Unless the accomplice is the victim himself, which is weird. I don't think that's the case. So Regina didn't go to the lodging house. Max didn't go to the lodging house. Ben stayed at the front entrance the whole time, except that 5 minutes when he was chasing the monkey, I guess. But other than that, he was there the whole time. Bat is in a coma. The Dick Gumshoe and Francisco obviously weren't involved. Maya and Phoenix obviously isn't involved. Max was in the ringmaster's room the whole time, if we trust him, and we have to. He's our defendant, you know. And again, Mo has an alibi. And it seems like, I don't know, unless he's an accomplice as well. He could have been lying, he could have been collaborating with Acro this whole time as well. But then why would he, like, give this whole testimony in the first place? About the loud sound, about the cloak and hat. About everything, right? He was keeping a secret for Acro, though. I don't know. But then he doesn't have a motive. Why would Mo try to kill Russell? I don't know. I mean... Did Acro have an accomplice? No? Now then, this is when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice. Not this time, Von Karma. But what? You're not going to sucker me into this one. What are you blabbering about now, Mr. Wright? There is no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. Order, order. What are you getting at? A way to keep them on their toes, Nick. Now I'm gonna have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show him how Acro murdered Russell Berry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do it. Mr. Phoenix Wright. If this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right? Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingling? Dingling. Dingling? Dingling. Dingling, dingling. I mean, there's only one place he could have been. He's not around here. We didn't see any, like, wheelchair prints, you know? He wasn't at Moe's, because Moe doesn't testify that he was there. And... I don't know. And we didn't say Acro passed by Ben, but we can only assume because he had an accident 6 months ago, and there was like a practice, right? Around like 9:40 or whatever. But Acro couldn't practice really because he's in his wheelchair. He can't do his acrobatics with his legs broken, nor without his brothers, so he could have been only at home, basically. Maybe? I don't know. He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room. Pretty simple, huh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there can only be one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts? What say you, Mr. Dingling? I keep saying Dingling. Dingling. Dingling! It's an interesting theory. That's it? Considering that what you propose is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he's in the wheelchair, there's no way he could go to the scene or be the killer. You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Mo said that he saw Max, didn't he? And he flew away, woo! But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? Now what is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How do you do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet. Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here... She's right, I can't mess up here. I gotta give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster, okay? We're gonna assume that now. And he did it while he was in his room. No doubt about it, okay? Time to enlighten us on how Miss Dingling committed the crime, Mr. Wright. I mean, there's this bus. Did he mention something about mannequin? Something like a mannequin? This box is heavy as well, by the way. I mean, I'm thinking, well, I mean, if he was in his room, right? If he was in his room, or whatever, and he could have went to the scene of the crime, you know? And how do you kill someone while being in a room on the 3rd floor? I mean, the thing that sticks out to me is that he dropped something. He dropped this really heavy box. Maybe he dropped like a big heavy box on the victim, and then he died. But that doesn't. I don't know. Doesn't explain a lot, but I mean that's one way he could have done it. And that's how you would kill someone, maybe. If someone was below you and you were above them, what will you do? You drop something heavy on them and they die. I don't know. Something like that. There's an option to not present evidence, but I'm not sure if that's correct or not. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe. Like, how did Miss Dingling commit a crime? How did he kill him, basically? I'm gonna say the box. I'm gonna present some evidence. So what did Mr. Dingling use to commit the crime of murder against Russell Berry? I'm gonna say this very heavy box. 20 pounds. Pretty heavy. 20 pounds. Maybe not that heavy, but pretty heavy. I think you should try again, especially before someone gets the chance to say something. Whoops. Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, maybe not. As I say, this piece of evidence... Stop. Wait, I say. Before you start over, you must be penalized. Whoops. Don't. Well, we don't have a choice to not present evidence, so we kinda have to present something. Bottle? I dropped the bottle on him? There's nothing else that he would drop on his head, you know? Because he's like, again, the autopsy did say blunt force trauma to the back of the head. If you were to kill someone, if you were like above someone, then you would drop something. I thought it was the box, but I guess not. Not the box? Well, what's heavy? Badge. Nope. Magatama. Nope. This crime photo. Again, I thought it was the box. I thought that somehow he dropped the box, it hit his head, and somehow the victim did a backflip and then fall on the box. Maybe that doesn't make any sense at all, really. I guess not. So it's not heavy. Paper is not heavy. This poster is not heavy. This bottle, it's already broken. This was already proven. Like I was thinking, maybe he dropped the bottle, but that doesn't kill anyone really. In fact, Ben got hit in the head. He's fine for the most part. And we have to present something. I was thinking like maybe he dropped something else heavy. He dropped the monkey. No. Well, I guess technically the monkey has an alibi. The monkey was with Ben. Leon's dead. That's the autopsy. It's not the wooden box. It's not this pepper that was found in the wooden box. There's this photo, I guess. And there's this note that connects Acro to the murder. Maybe. And here's this bus. Well, we didn't mention something about a mannequin, right? Maybe this is what they saw? There's the cloak, there's the hat. You know, ironically, there's no white roses, as he mentioned before. So maybe it really is this bus? He dropped the bus on someone's head? That's the only other heavy thing I can think of. This bronze statue. Maybe? And it says right here, what did Mr. Dingley use to commit the crime of murder against Russell Berry? What did he use? The only heavy things I see here is the box, or this bus. What else is heavy? A person, maybe? Maybe he went to the hospital, grabbed his brother, you know, went home, dropped his brother onto the Russell Berry, and then killed him because... I don't know, because Bad is heavy, is still in a coma. I don't know. Because I'm thinking maybe he dropped another human being on Russell and then he died. That makes no sense at all. That's because then again, because you know, how did he fly? You see, he dressed Bad up in like a cloak and a hat, you know, and put him on a fishing pole, right? And then
I don't know. This is just crazy. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway. Bronze statue. What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is with the item that's shown in the picture. The bus? It's quite a large bus. And because it is life-size, it's also very, very heavy. Okay. Maybe, I'm not entirely convinced, but... You know, in that case, I wish it would say, by the way, it's heavy. I wish in the court record it said, it's heavy, you know? That would be nice. Instead, it's just this bust. We're just assuming that's heavy. I don't know, it could be like hollow in the inside, you know? That could be a thing. Anyway. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. See, this is how Acro was able to kill the Ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. His bust, you say. The power of bus. Order. So you're saying the bus fell onto the Ringmaster? A rather simple crime. Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. Is it? I don't know. You gotta aim it and stuff. You might miss, so... How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair with something so heavy? It's impossible. Well, Acro's an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bus. Mr. Dingling, how do you respond to these charges? Well, Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro, you can't run away from things. I'd watch what you say. If I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? Well, Karma. She's just using this testimony as a ruse to stall for time. There's absolutely no need for such testimony. Ironically, you know, stalling for time with new testimony, that's what you do, Phoenix, right? The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond. The defense's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? I mean, he does. The judge is, you know, easily swayed at times, so... Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Oh, thank you. That woman will sink to any low to win a case. But you do it too, Phoenix. You do it too. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bus? I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bus and looking out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's pretty hard. Even if you had legs, it would be pretty hard to even gauge the distance and how accurate, you know, the object to throw on the person. And then again, he's an acrobat. I don't know. Maybe he is used to that kind of hand-eye coordination. Maybe he is very good at that. I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bus and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention that he could have not have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really. I can't let her get to me. I gotta focus. Focus! Have you ever lifted up the bus before? No, I've never actually lifted it up with my own two hands. But I should get to it, don't you think? I can't let money outdo me on this. Money? That crazy monkey has lifted Max's bus before? I guess Money the Monkey's pretty strong too. Please continue your testimony. Okay. Have a strong upper body. So what have you been doing to keep in shape? Well, honestly, I've given up on training. I don't have any plans to return to the trapeze or tightrope. You don't say. But no offense, I'm not worried about losing to you in a race or anything. Neither am I, Mr. Freaks, right? I wouldn't lose either, Slowpoke. I mean, Nick. Whoa, how did this discussion turn to me all of a sudden? I suppose you could say that I'm stronger than the average bear. Smarter than the average bear. Would have been impossible. And why is that? Because if I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. I still haven't gotten much feeling back in my legs yet. So you couldn't have thrown the bus out of the window. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. How long do you think your recovery will take? You have to remember that my nerves were severely damaged. I'm currently undergoing some extremely intensive rehabilitation. But it's still going to take a while before I'm back to 100%. Let me remind you of another very important point. If the window was carrying the bus, he will not be able to see out below the window. Makes it impossible with a known location of the ringmaster's head. Why do you say that would have been impossible? Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bus, I couldn't see out below the window? Thus, there's no way that I would know the location of the ringmaster's head. Well, I suppose you've got a point. Hey, Nick. Huh? What if you turn things around? Maybe if you think it's sort of like this. If he knew the location of the ringmaster's head, then he could drop the bus. That does make sense. If only I could prove it somehow. That Acro knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down. I think I've already explained things sufficiently. That's would be unrealistic for me to drop the bus on him, don't you think? It's all you had to do. If all you had to do was drop it, then it wouldn't have been a problem at all. If all I had to do was drop it. You're right, I could have done that. However, there's no way that I could land a direct hit on the ringmaster's head. So that kind of makes your theory a bit pointless, doesn't it, Mr. Wright? Acro is strong enough to lift up the bus. The main problem is how he could have aimed for the ringmaster's head. I wonder if he used some kind of tool to aim for the ringmaster? You know, use a periscope? I don't know. Well, that's the ticket, Nick. Show them what you got. I have to be careful. I have to find something that fits perfectly with the case. I don't remember us finding any sort of tool. Maybe we overlooked something? Not a tool, but... Location of Ringmaster's head. Well, there is something that would have shown that the Ringmaster was at this general location. Right? Something that proves that the Ringmaster was there all along at around 10 o'clock. I guess exactly 10:15, I guess. It would have been this note. You know, it says right here, meet me at 10 o'clock p.m. tonight at the Lodging House Plaza, right? Right here. And also, I guess, this box? You know, I was thinking maybe he dropped the box, but then again, maybe the box was there the entire time? If that's the case... I guess there's two things. The wooden box was there the entire time, right? We can only assume that, however, we don't know exactly. If the box was there the entire time, then he would have known where the Ringmaster's head would be. Other than that, it would have been this, maybe. Okay, so either the note or the box, I feel like. I'm not sure which one to show, though. Well, at the very least, there's no shows exactly where... I don't know. Maybe it's the box. Maybe it's the box this time? I showed the box last time. It was wrong, but maybe this time is correct? Because I know it's kind of flimsy, because it's kind of like, you know, who is it meant to be given, right? It doesn't show that it's given to the Ringmaster, it was given to Regina, technically, so... It's kind of making too many conclusions there. So maybe it's the box. The box definitely was there at the scene of the crime, and is exactly where he died on, right? So it's kind of like a target, right? Like a bullseye for the killer to drop, you know, the heavy bust on, maybe. I think so. I think my logic is sound. Let's see. Acro, you didn't really need to lean out the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the Ringmaster's head was gonna be. Quite precisely, I may add. Your silly hinting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling! How about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job hinting. Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Or maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the Ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box, which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bus came falling down was exactly the same moment that the Ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean, if the bus were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box, there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim? Well... I would feel like it would still miss, or at least might miss, you know. But, yeah. It would help, you know, where to aim, at the very least. No. Order. This is unbelievable. Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. There's only one way to go from here. Forward. So the next question I have is, who placed the wooden box at the scene? Well, it was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and all he had to do was lower it down. Ow! Allow me to whip some sense into you. Mr. Phoenix Wright? Ow! Ah! The Ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. Well, that's why the box was so specifically made. Specifically made? Indeed. It had the most particular feature. The weight, right? You couldn't move it, right? I think, well, either the size or the weight. I don't know. At the very least, the wooden box, its most, you know, distinct feature was the fact that it is like 20 pounds, right? The box has a remarkable weight. Weight? According to the court record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. One would have to squat down, then lift it up with their body, wouldn't you say? That's exactly what I was trying to point out. The box is also very large. The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means, no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. I guess so. I mean, 20 pounds is not that heavy, but I guess it's still like large enough so that you can't really lift it up with one hand, really. Not well, anyway. So you probably do need to squat and everything. Fool. Baka! Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills.
Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza?
Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could have never have done what he's proposing.
What?
Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bus? It was in a cafeteria, right? Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria.
Then what happened to it?
I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Ah, that means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bus from my room. However, I would have gotten the bus from the cafeteria to my room in the first place. You see, Mr. Friedrich's right? Explain that. Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. Oh, God. Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bus from the cafeteria. Yep, we definitely have a problem here, Houston. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get to the bus from the cafeteria back to his room? Well, it's kind of obvious because there's that one testimony that Acro gave where he mentioned a certain buddy of his was strong enough to carry the bus, right? And also, what is it? Where's the bus? Look at this bus. It's pretty shiny, isn't it? At least the car is anyway. Pretty shiny. I assume those cars like glued on, right? So it could have only have been Money the Monkey, his true accomplice. So actually, as it turns out, he did have an accomplice after all. I don't know if I mentioned that. I don't know. Did I mention that he could have had the monkey as an accomplice? I think I did. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. But yeah, it's Money the Monkey. Also, like when you think about it, yeah, it makes sense because he brings so much shiny things into his room anyway. It could have been something else. It could have been. It doesn't have to be the bus. It could have been like, I don't know, like a big old trophy, or I don't know. What's heavy? Actually, I don't know. Like, what's heavy and shiny? I guess there's not a lot of things that's heavy and shiny at the same time. But anyway, it's the monkey. It's a goddamn monkey.
A monkey?
Well, everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size. Well, like when he stole the ventriloquist's ring. So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bus? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own accord, and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Acro's room.
Acro's room?
But the bus was bronze, wasn't it? Bruz isn't all that shiny. Well, maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record.
My, those are some very nice cars he's holding.
Yes, and they're made of platinum, which is very shiny. Oh, platinum cars. Acro. Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring back the bus back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate.
Order, I said order. Miss Von Karma. Where's the bus in question at this moment?
I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak.
This is a rather strange turn of events. But let's say the monkey had not stolen the bus. What would have happened then?
Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon. Wait. Then you mean this bus was the murder weapon purely by accident? Yeah, that's what I mentioned before. Like, it could have been something else. It didn't have to be the bus. It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron! Moron. Baka!
Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that.
Ow! Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright? And what is that? You should know! Mens rea. No? Okay, maybe not. We're not at that point yet. Because I was saying, like, motive? Maybe not. You forgot that your fraud of a magical climb was spotted at the scene of the crime. Oh. There's no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? Nick, don't let her beat you now. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. Turnabout. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw? They did mention something about the mannequin, right? Well, when I think about it... when I think about it, the fact that... maybe it's not so far-fetched that the Russell Berry did a backflip when I think about it, because where did his coat go? We didn't find his coat there in the scene of the crime, and we've already proven, I think anyway, there wasn't like a physical, actual person at the scene of the crime, because we didn't see any footprints, right? Unless they were hovering, I don't know. And Acro obviously wasn't there because he was in his wheelchair, unless he somehow learned to levitate as well. I don't know, nothing is, completely out of the question, considering, Magadama, Psych Locks, Spirit Channeling. But assuming flying is impossible, because everyone keeps saying that flying is impossible, and no one knows how to levitate, there's no actual physical person there. So again, gotta be like a mannequin, right? So a mannequin, what we see is the bus, right? Is Max, right? With his hat and his cloak, whatever. Could have been mistaken as a person. But by itself, maybe not, because it's only his bus. However, where did the magician's cloak and the hat were all found on the ground, right? And that makes sense, because there's already a hat here. This is the hat that Mo saw, and what Acro testified, I guess, technically. So that makes sense. So the bus itself, the hat is always one of a kind, but also, I guess you could make this technically isn't one of a kind, because the bus itself is already connected with the face and the whole thing, so that's part of the package. So technically there was two hats, actually. There were two silk hats. The other silk hat was made of bronze. But anyway, again, where did the cloak go? It wasn't on the scene of the crime. Maybe, when the bus hit Russell, he actually did do a backflip, and then the cloak fell on the bus? I guess? So... let's start. Let's go step by step first. So what did the murderer saw? What did the clown saw, rather? Who was the murderer the clown saw? It was probably the bus, I'm thinking. Well, he saw Max's bit. I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question. Au contraire, mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. Yeah, again, we mentioned that before. Mannequin, action figure. How is that possible? It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust. His boobs. What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak. There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bus. It would be easy to hang one off the cars in the bus's hands. Idiot! Baka! Who in their right mind would put a cloak on the bus? It doesn't matter who put it on the bus. Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bus? That question is of the utmost importance to this case, don't you agree? Oh, you caught me. So let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bus? Well, the thing is, the obvious answer would have been Acro, right? But the thing is, he only got this bus by chance. So there's no reason why he would put the cloak on the bus in the first place to, supposedly frame Max. In fact, he doesn't seem like he wants to frame anyone, really.
If he was the killer, anyway. He seems to like everyone so far, except Regina, I guess. In that case, he would put the... Instead of, you know, framing Max, he would have framed Regina. I don't know. But other than that, he also couldn't have gotten the cloak because the cloak was nowhere near him. Because he was in his room. So who did the cloak belong to? It could have only belonged to Russell, because he had the cloak in the first place. So, fool! Him? You're saying it was the victim himself, Russell Berry? That's what I'm saying. I mean, the victim himself placed the cloak on the bus? Placed the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. It won't be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright. Explain yourself. Nick, do you really have a handle on all of this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can paint anyways. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Again, I'm thinking the theory about him doing a backflip. Anyway, Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box under the scene. And I guess, yeah, also the rope was also attached to the bus because that's what he used to lower the box in the first place. Then he attached the rope to the bus and dangled the bus out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than the ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bus hit the victim, I mean, I guess so, yeah. Again, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, it's not. I guess it was just an accident, right? The cloak just got stuck on the bus, and that's all that happened, really. You wait just a second there, Mr. Phoenix, right? As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be. It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. What? Yeah, again, that's why the hat is there. The actual silk hat was on the ground, and the bus itself has its own hat anyway. So the impact of the bus on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bus. That impact also caused the sound of a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Mo Curls, the clown. When Mo looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bus. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling out the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Mo saw the bus being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out of his window, so he just kept pulling the bust up. And there you go. And I mean, again, that's how... I mean, that's what I was trying to say. Like, why is the silk hat on the ground, but not the cloak? Where did the cloak go to? There could have been only one answer. It I guess, got stuck on the bronze statue. And that's how the magical murderer disappearing in the sky came to be. So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Acro, it could only have been you. Acro's been playing mind games with all of us. He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So, what now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true? Evidence? In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip. Really? Your whip? Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence?
Nick, they say they want evidence. I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. But there's still something unusual about Mo's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay then, use that and get out of this jam. That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs up your claims. What? Okay. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case. Profile, no? Wait, what am I supposed to... Wait a minute. Proof that the trick could have only have been that way. I mean, again, I mentioned before the hat, right? That proves the bus was somehow related because the hat was one of a kind, and yet Mo saw the hat on the bus, right? On this supposed silhouette. Which is impossible unless the hat was attached to the bus itself in the first place, so it's not really like a second hat, it's just, you know, it's a bronze hat that is in the same shape, right? Right? Nah? Is that correct? I'm not sure. Unless he's talking about something else. Mo's contradiction. I can't think of anything else at the moment. But I think that's the case, right? I hope I'm right. Right? Am I Phoenix right? Right? Right. The problem is Max's three symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Well, yesterday there were two contradictions in Mo's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of these contradictions. You fool! Do you ever shut up? You ever shut up? Other side! Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bus's. Makes sense. If you look at it that way, then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of. Fine, you got one, but what about the other contradiction? The other contradiction? Remember what that ventriloquist said in court. He said he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? Of course, I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bus. If the cloak snagged onto the bus, what happened to the white roses? What indeed happened? I guess, yeah, I guess like that. That's what happened. Do you get it now? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bus, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bus. No. Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bus. Order. I can't really roll my R's. This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. Nope. Double nope. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. Yep, we're getting the motive. This witness feels incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. If anyone with any relation to the circus is anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Or would they? Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive. It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well. However, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. Alright. I guess we unraveled that magic trick. You know, I've heard that people don't like this case for some reason. Because they jumped the logic is a bit of a jump there. I wonder if it's because of that, the whole, like, the bus thing. It made sense to me, I don't know. To be honest, I got stuck on the clown part. That's the real problem there in this case. The clown. Ugh. Anyway.